Hey everybody, it's Friday, December 20th. Let's talk PlayStation. Switched back to the PS3 screen this week because I'm still playing Minecraft, and after recording this, I'm probably gonna try and get the platinum trophy in that game because I'm one trophy away. So that's good stuff. And as you can clearly see, my studio lights have not been fixed. I ordered light bulbs. They ain't in yet. Well, proper, studio light bulbs, and those aren't in yet. But I would have to assume you don't care too much about lighting, because what you do care about is PlayStation news, so let's get right into it. Final Fantasy X and Final Fantasy X-2 HD. You remember this, right? These games are getting remastered. They're coming to PS3. They're coming to Vita. I feel like a lot of people keep forgetting about these, and I myself keep forgetting about them, and it's so awesome that they're coming out in March, because that's the news. Their release date has been announced for March 18th in North America and the 21st in Europe, which is kick-ass right there. Like I said, I think a lot of people forget about this, and because, this, for me at least, these are fantastic PS2 games. I can't wait to buy these things and play them again in high def. I'm just really excited. I think a lot of people keep forgetting about these games. Some details about them: the PS3 disc, it has both games on it. So Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD are on one Blu-ray disc, and they're sold separately. There's no cross-buy. And then the Vita version is Final Fantasy X on the cartridge, and the game case is also going to come with a voucher for X-2. So it's kind of confusing, but basically you're getting both games on PS3 and you're getting both games on Vita, but X-2 is a digital download. Speaking of things that we may or may not have forgotten about, Sony Computer Entertainment President and CEO Andrew House was talking to The Guardian and talked about Gaikai. And Gaikai, he's saying Gaikai is still on track for 2014. Just kind of reiterating the same things that we know about the service, which is it's going to be a slow, progressive thing. It's not going to launch and just be this huge thing. They're going to roll it out just for North America. We probably shouldn't expect many titles for it right up front, and then it's only going to be available on PlayStation 4. But Andrew House is saying again the service will stream PS3 games to Vita at some point, and then even again talking about the real long term, which is hopefully having Gaikai run on services, boxes that aren't just PlayStation. You'd have smart TVs, maybe like the Roku box or something, anything, right? It's just sort of rolling out to expand that whole expansion of things, right? The PlayStation brand is not going to be just hardware in the future. It's going to be something further than that, which would be software and services. So more of that, basically. Sony's just saying that that's still coming. But I think we also keep, that's one thing we also keep forgetting about, is we do have Gaikai coming, which is a really interesting idea that, again, Sony doesn't seem very, concrete on it, right? They're not, they're being very vague with the service, so we'll hopefully see more about it, but I'm still extremely interested to see what it is. One interesting thing that Andrew House said is that he doesn't see it as backwards compatibility, but more so just new ways to play PlayStation 3 games, which would make sense because I'm going to assume it's not like this is going to open up the whole PS3 library onto PS4 and Vita. They keep saying that it's only going to be certain critically acclaimed titles, so just some of Sony's best first-party games and whatever third-party games they can sign on to the service. So Gaikai, an update, but not really a major update, so we'll have to wait more for that one. So according to MCV UK, the PS Vita got a sales increase due to the PlayStation 4. Sony has not released any official numbers, but from what MCV is reporting is that the PlayStation Vita had a 68% sales increase during the week that the PlayStation 4 launched, and then the following week it got another still a steady increase of 65%. And that's really all they're saying right now. All we have is percentages of how much it went up, and we don't actually know, we don't have any hard numbers to look at, which, I mean, good. I think, one of the things going into the PS4 launch, and the fact that Vita's been struggling for so long, is people are always going to say, "Oh, wait for PS4 to come out." That's going to really pump Vita sales, encourage Vita sales, and the whole time, at least for me, I'm like, yeah, maybe it'll encourage a couple people to buy Vita, but I just don't think it's going to be that kind of driving success that people think is going to happen. Hundreds of thousands of people are going to buy Vitas all of a sudden to go along with their PS4s. So that's a $600 investment. I just don't see that happening. It's not necessarily surprising that there's a percentage increase, but it can't be significant, certainly. I mean, I don't really want to downplay it. If it's good numbers, then good. I mean, Vita's certainly struggling. It's not struggling as bad as the Wii U, for example, in which Wii U is having a really, really hard time right now. But, Vita's at 6.7, 6.8 million units right now. It's on the verge of hitting 7 soon. It's at its 2-year. It just hit 2 years of being on the market. It's 2 years old now. So, I mean, yeah, it's definitely struggling. I just don't think that. I don't know. See, if you want to, if you really want to stimulate Vita sales, you bundle the system with PS4. That's what I've always been saying. If you have some sort of value proposition of someone who doesn't own a PS4 or a Vita, you put it in one box, and you know, again, a value proposition, so it's not $600. It's something certainly more affordable than $600, whether that's $550, or if Sony wants to swing it and go for $500 and take a loss on it, or what have you. But have that proposition, right? Because now you're requiring PlayStation Plus for people, and at least for online multiplayer on PS4, and even if you have PlayStation Plus on just PS3, you know, one subscription is getting you free games for all of these platforms, you know. So it's like, once you have a PS3 or a PS4, you've got free Vita games just sitting there, you know. That's at least how I would sort of look at it, to try and stimulate Vita sales, to try and really get some of this hardware to move, because again, like, if people have PS4s, I just don't think it's going to be that big of a push for people that have PS4s. Like, oh, maybe now I'll go and get a Vita. But regardless of all that, we do have a percentage saying that Vita sales are certainly up, which is always good. Like, I want to see that platform thrive. You know, I love my Vita. I think it's a great device. It's got full of potential in it, and a lot of the games that are on it, like Terraway and, you know, Uncharted Golden Abyss, and even all this great indie stuff, which whether you like indie games or not, they are good, and people do buy them. So it's a great platform. I just really want to see it succeed, and hopefully it does. So now that we're almost at the end of December, I think one thing we should talk about is PS4, and if you can actually try and buy one of these things. The PS4 shortage, if you will. How hard it is to find these things. Throughout all the past how many episodes of Let's Talk PlayStation going into the PS4's release, we've always talked about how Sony themselves are saying that they have plenty of PS4 stock and they're holding it back. They weren't letting people reserve every single unit they could because they wanted to, you know, have this thing available throughout the holidays so you could go into a store and buy one. But as it turns out, and from what I've been seeing from multiple you know, forums and threads and comments and everywhere, like, I'm trying to like sort of gauge that sort of situation, and it seems like PS4 is in pretty rough supply right now. You know, like, stores are getting sold out immediately. Sony had about 12,000 extra PS4s to give Amazon recently, and that sold out in about 20 minutes or so, which is crazy. And they, you know, they just happened to have an extra 12,000 units, and they were just gone. So is Sony having a real issue here? Jack Tretton, president and CEO of SCEA, and Andrew House, you know, president and CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment in general, both touch on the subject, basically saying that the shortage is very much so real. Jack Tretton himself said that he was extremely saddened by the fact that if someone has $400 and they go to a store and they can't get a PS4, you know, that's unfortunate. And some people might even come up with a theory that Sony's doing this themselves to kind of build that sort of engagement, like, oh, it's so hard to get a PS4, when realistically they do have PS4s, that they're intentionally doing this, which I don't think is anywhere close to true, considering the box is affordable, the demand is there, and the competition is right around the corner from them, you know. I don't think they'd want to intentionally hold back stock. But at least from initial reports going into the PS4 launch, it seemed like Sony made a lot of units, you know. They're at 2.6 million units right now. They want to hit 3 million by the end of the year, which they certainly are more than capable of doing if they had the units, right? And they want to hit 5 million by March, which they should, you know, very easily reach, and I think they'll have the units by then, but, you know, it's just crazy that it's so hard to find one now. I think one really important thing here as to why Sony's having such a struggle keeping PS4s in stock is that they're launching in so many territories. Just this past week, they launched in 12 new territories, and I believe that brings them up to 47 or 48, 50, some odd territories in total for the PS4 being available. It's in Spain now, it's in the Republic, all these random ass countries that I'm not even going to list off because there's a lot of them, right? So Sony's trying to supply PS4 to a lot of places, which would kind of make sense as to why, because, you know, Microsoft, for example, the X1, it's still only in 13 territories as far as last time I checked. They just don't have enough boxes, and they're just focusing on those one territories, but Sony's really going all out. Which, of course, like, it works out to their advantage, you know, they're available in more places, but you can only do that if you have the boxes to do it, and at least from what I'm hearing, it's really hard to find a system. Well, I guess everywhere. I was going to say, like, just America and Europe and all that, but I guess it would be everywhere, because these systems are selling out fast, which it does. It bodes well for Sony, because they just haven't had situations like this in how many years, you know? They've been struggling ever since. They've been the underdogs with PS3 until the point where they finally caught up to Microsoft. But as a company, if they make profit, then, you know, it's a good day for them, right? But I'm interested to hear from you guys, your local stores, you know, are PS4s in stock? What's going on? Can you find one anywhere? Pretty much around here, it is bone dry. Like, my friends are trying to get them, they can't find any, so let's sort of gauge where they're at right now. So once again, we've got more evidence to this Crash Bandicoot coming back to PlayStation craziness. Like, my goodness. So, Sony Denmark posted on their Facebook page a picture of Crash Bandicoot. So I'll display the picture for you right now. It's actually old Crash Bandicoot art. This is by no means new art, but it is, you know, classic Crash Bandicoot art that's, you know, been around for a while. But they did post it, and then they said something along the lines of, translated, like, what do you have under your tree this year? Something along those lines, right? But that's it, right? That's what happened. Sony Denmark posted more Crash Bandicoot. Granted, it's not new imagery, which would hint for sure at like a new game or something like that, but it's more evidence nonetheless. And that's pretty much it. Like, really, that's it. Like, Sony Denmark posted a Crash Bandicoot picture now, so all evidence in total, Activision removes all the things from their site. Sony had that trailer where it showed Crash Bandicoot on a sign going back to a, you know, Orange Diamond, which is Sony Computer Entertainment. Then Sony Brazil posted a picture on Twitter, and now Sony Denmark posted a picture on Facebook. It's just like, I still find it hard to believe, right? Like, I still find it very hard to believe, but you really have to ask yourself, why would they be doing this if something wasn't happening? Now, really look at this. Like, why would they be doing this? Like, what reasoning would they get out of this? There's no good. No good would come out of this if they're just posting all this for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Like, look at the first evidence, the PlayStation trailer they did. Like, how much money did they spend making that trailer? You know, it's a you know, huge full-on production set, putting all these like Easter eggs everywhere. Sony loves putting Easter eggs in these trailers and all that. Like why? Like, why would they do this stuff? You know, like, why? Right? And I still find it very hard to believe that something's actually going on. Like, Sony's actually bringing Crash Bandicoot back to PlayStation exclusivity, or they possibly bought Crash Bandicoot back. Like, I'm still not a believer, technically, but I'm a believer in evidence, man, and we have plenty of it. There's really not a whole lot left for me to say on this headlining news story of Let's Talk PlayStation, but, yeah, man, it's more fuel. Like, it's more fire. Like, I don't know really what else to say. Like, we've talked about this, what, 2 episodes already? So this is the 3rd episode we've talked about this whole Crash Bandicoot on PlayStation rumor. I still, like, I never would think that Sony would do something like this, but we've heard rumblings before that Sony's bringing back classic PlayStation franchises, and they don't own Crash Bandicoot, but I don't know what else to say, man. There's enough evidence there. That's why I'm reporting on it, because that's why I finally decided to start talking about this in a large capacity, because there is enough evidence there. So, I don't know, man. I want to hear your thoughts. Like, do any of you actually believe that this will happen? From what I'm reading on, like, forums and threads and comments, like, a lot of people are still pretty much like, I'll see comments on IGN and people are like, yeah, absolutely, let's make it happen. And some people are totally buying it, but then I'll, like, go on, like, NeoGAF and people are like, nah, it's not going to happen, which, you know, I'm sort of in that same boat, but my reply to those people is, then why the God damn it, would Sony be doing all this? There's no reason. There's got to be a reason for everything. There's got to be a fucking reason. That concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. This is the last Let's Talk PlayStation before Christmas. So, Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays to everybody. I'll still be uploading videos, try and do some reviews and all that. You know how that goes. And I'll hopefully try to maybe soon work on that on-camera series that I'm going to do. Which, again, gonna try and get to that soon. Hey, Minecraft PS3 reviews out. I just talked about that the beginning of the show, so watch that. It's fine. It's just like the 360 version. That concludes this week's episode of Let's Talk PlayStation. I'm Ryan Benecki. Thank you so much for talking with me. I'll see you next Friday.